It's not a distraction. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Spectro chat. I'm Chris.
I'm Christian.
I'm Colin.
I'm Jacob.
And in this episode, we're going over your options in your blind agency that can assist you. And, more than just your options, but, we're going to be going over all the possibilities that are in our areas and that we know are in your areas that, once again, can assist you. So let's get into it.
So,
all right, you do.
Well, normally we.
All right, you do.
What? What'd you say?
Someone go.
all right. So typically, so across the country, there's an organization called Vocational Rehabilitation, and if you are disabled severely before you're out of the school system, then you should be super familiar with them because they'll come interview you while you're in high school. But for those who aren't, Vocational Rehabilitation is a state-run agency that helps you with your vocational goals. So, for example, they will help pay for, clothing for a job. They will help pay for school if you're wanting to go to college, and they'll help pay for any kind of assistive or adaptive technology that you might need to complete your work or school. Just sum it up in a nutshell. They can do other things, but those are the main things that they're known for.
All right. Well, I will say for Colin and myself in our area, which is Illinois, it's not so good.
Hey, my area is pretty good.
Oh yeah, yeah. They just give you tech whenever you need it.
No, it's part of the contract.
They help you get a job, do they?
They have been working with me on that.
Yeah. How long has that been going?
A while.
All right.
You had an interview at one place.
Well, to be fair, that could just be a failing on Colin's part and not their part.
Yeah, because Colin is Colin.
Well, I know from my own personal experience in my area, they gave me and I was down in his area for the time, but they gave me the tech that I needed, and I was in school, and I was, attending college and all that business. They gave me my equipment, and they gave me, for that time, a JAWS program and open book. Now, they won't do any of that. They say, you need to get everything on your own, and, like Colin said, that's, whatever. It's just...
After the initial...
Definitely makes things more difficult because, stuff like open book and stuff...
It's expensive.
It's $1,000. Like, you can't just get that on your own, Well, and if you need that, they'll help you. If you have a job, they'll help you with stuff there. If you're going to college, they might help you with stuff.
They will.
But,
I know for me, I just signed a plan with my counselor that would essentially help pay for all college expenses, with that set of guidelines that they have for that, and all equipment I would need.
Was it 3 years?
What do you mean 3 years?
Was it a 3-year contract with your department?
It did not have a time frame on it.
Okay.
In here they give you a time.
Right. A lot of times
they gave me 5 years, and I didn't make that, so they were like, okay, well.
A lot of times it's 3 to 5 years, and now this is the thing. If you go to college, they will help you get into that. If you want to change your approach or look into getting employment, they will then come to your workplace, and they will check what technology you need at that point. But they won't help you after. If you're just out of college and you're kind of in between work and school, they won't do anything for you, at least in a sense of technology-wise.
Well, I think in the sense of anything-wise. Okay, I'm going to make it clear, if I haven't already, from what I'm saying. I am extremely negative towards vocational rehabilitation because they have just not. Area. Right. They have not shown any want to help.
And unfortunately, I mean, I've had that too. Don't get me wrong. Like, for example, I with my
nor with my wife either. Like,
yeah. See, the problem with vocational rehabilitation, just like everything else, it just all depends on where you're at. Not where you're at, but who your counselor is. Because
and the money.
I had one counselor. She was fantastic. She helped me get into 2 programs to better myself and to be a better blind person in general. And she also helped me get some equipment. She helped me get into JAWS. She helped me get JAWS. But I had her twice. I had her for my first program and second program. But in between those 2 programs I went to, I did a semester in college. And the person I had during that time, she never responded to my phone calls or emails. And I had all of the information that she needed, but she needed to redo it because she was like, well, I don't have records. I was like, how do you not have records? It's all there. And I actually gave her the records that she needed. And she's like, no, we just do whole new stuff. And I ended up having to go through my first semester of college with no assistive technology whatsoever.
Now, was that on behalf of the department, or was that on behalf of your college not connecting with the department?
No. I mean, my college was okay. I mean, they gave me the accommodations that were reasonable. Like,
yeah. That's not a problem for me. It's like when I was going to college, here's what I'm saying. When I was going to college, they gave me grant money and that was great. They gave me a financial assistance and thank you. I appreciate that. But they didn't do anything for me as far as anything else goes. Any help I got was because of the disability center at said colleges that I was going to.
Right.
And I just had really nice people in those departments who were really gunning to help, who understood. They had nothing to do with DHS.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, DHS is in Illinois. Like, that's what it's called.
So,
DRS, Department of Rehab Services.
Okay, yeah.
So with vocational rehabilitation
blind service
agency, depending on your state, that'll be either under DHS or Department of Human Services, or DLS or Department of Labor Services, or DL for Department of Labor for short.
I've never heard it called that myself.
I have, but there was a federal mandate that said either by 2019 or 2020, in all 50 states, it has to be part of the Department of Labor.
Okay.
So
it's all going to be named that then. All right.
In California, it's just called the Department of Rehabilitation.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean that's what I know it as well. Department of Rehabilitation.
Here it's DHS, and then in Georgia, where I first was at, and right now I'm in Arkansas, but in Georgia it was under the Department of Labor.
Yeah, and here's something that's kind of always bugged me about my particular situation. My case is actually currently closed with Department of Rehabilitation, but like Chris said, they were great paying for college and stuff. They're really useful there.
Yeah.
And never had any problems with that. But I think it was either right after my senior year in high school or the year after, my counselor just suddenly switched.
Oh, mine did that too.
The first lady I had was really nice. I can't even remember her name, unfortunately. I don't know if she retired, because I remember her being somewhat older, or if she just changed jobs. I never actually found out why she left. But suddenly I had a new counselor. My first counselor I was actually able to meet with. She worked maybe 10-15 minutes away from where I lived, so I could just go down to the office and talk to her when we had meetings.
Me too.
But then my second counselor, just for anybody who lives in California knows it's that I'm in the valley, right? So I'm in the center, more towards the eastern border of California, but still in the valley. But then my second counselor was all the way on the coast in the Bay Area.
Wow.
That's like a 3-hour drive. I never met him.
Okay, so my history is same So my very first, I still remember her name because she was so memorable and so helpful. She helped me get hooked up with stuff. Like, she helped me get in touch with the Lions Club that was in this vicinity. So Mitch and I both are in the Chicagoland area. Okay. So to give people an idea of that, and my exact address is, I'm not telling you. But,
I don't even know that. So if we get into the internet, screw you, internet.
Yeah. The thing is I remember her name. She was super assistive, and I worked with her for about 5-6 years, and then she moved down to Florida. Oh no, she moved down to Mississippi. She aced it out of here. And I knew she was doing it. It's not like she didn't warn me that she was doing it, but it's like it still caused like an entire year of a hiatus on my contract. Or not my contract, but my case. And then for the longest time, for like 4 or 5 years, they didn't have anybody in this area. Literally no one. No one at all who was confident and who was a good worker. So not just me, but hundreds of other visually impaired people had absolutely no one as a counselor. And it's just so ridiculous. And it's another reason why I'm not going to say I hate, but I have such...
You're frustrated.
I have the mentality where it's like, at this point in time, if you can't get it done yourself, it's never happening. It's never happening. You can't lean on, these services. That's my opinion on it. It's like, you just can't. You can't. And, I went through 3 or 4 different counselors, all of them just saying, several of them didn't even warn me. They picked it up for like a month or so, and then they left because they were like, screw this, I'm out of here.
And unfortunately, part of the reason for that is... Hello? Yeah, sorry about that. My computer was acting up. But
it's fine.
That is, there's a lot of internal politics. I had one counselor who told me...
I know. Yeah.
And,
you could keep talking about it. I'm not trying to stop you. It's just...
Yeah, it's just there's so much, internal politics that's so unnecessary at times that a lot of people who are good counselors just, say, peace out because they don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, well, and they're so overworked.
I was going to say that.
Another
time, they only want to hire one person. They don't want to spend too much money. So they get one person. They're like, all right, deal with these 250 people.
Yeah, and you have like, this many districts. What?
Well, see ya.
Yeah.
So, honestly, that's just a problem that just pervades state governments. And it sucks that it's affecting how people can get educated and get jobs.
Right.
Like, it's one thing if it's just affecting your job. That's an individual incident, right? But when that person's incident then becomes hundreds of other people's problems, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Because here's the sad reality is that you as a blind person, all of you listening, you as a visually impaired and a legally blind person, it's hard for you to get a job. I know. It's hard for us to get jobs. I know. That's why a part of it, why we started this job, because this is, helpful to somebody.
We're trying to fight the system, yo.
Yeah.
We're rebels.
Trying to fight the system. But the problem is that it's damn near impossible for you to get a job on your own. And that's the sad reality. And you need to rely on help always. And that sucks. It sucks. But that's the fact. And that's what frustrates me so much about the system, is because it's so broken and it's so messed up and nobody tries to fix it.
Well, and not to be the downer here, but...
Yeah, sure, if I haven't already done that.
Unfortunately, aside from your friends and family, as a blind person, we are low on the priority list.
Right.
Yep.
Nobody
I mean-
cares.
No one does care, and it's sad because some of the things that they've tried to do to be helpful is, downright like scary and could get you killed. Like, for example, talking pedestrian signs, like to crossing signs. Those are so dangerous.
Yeah,
I mean, 'cause
that-
I can't tell you how many times like I was safe to cross, and I've almost been hit like 2 or 3 times because I crossed when I was supposed to, and traffic was, the
Okay.
way that it's supposed to be safe to cross, and somebody decided to run a fucking red light.
and
And
I'm
something that's supposed to be that helpful, I shouldn't have to be in fear for my life of.
right. And I just want to. There's 2 things I want to say about California, specifically with crossing streets.
Mm-hmm.
One, like you said, the buttons. Sure,
Mhm.
they're nice, right? They let you know when you're supposed to be safe. But being in the state that has had statistically the worst drivers in America, and I can say this for sure because I drove cross country one time with my brother. As soon as we crossed that state line, it's like there was a friggin' like a-hole switch that someone turned on in people's brains. It's ridiculous. Now, I told this story, I think, in our first Spectro chat. I almost got hit by a cop one time. I've seen people, like, turn right on red when the left turn lane was going from the other way.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I didn't even feel safe walking, like, a quarter of a mile to buy a freaking Jack-in-the-Box. It was ridiculous. So there's that. But there's also... in downtown Sacramento, if anybody's been there, any blind people live there, I am sorry. That is the most... It's the old grid-style streets, right? But some of them are one-way, some of them are two-way. All of them are, like, there's only one green light, there's no designated turn lane, right? It is a death trap.
That sounds scary.
See, that's why I like, and it's not, they're rarely used nowadays, but that's why I like brick roads, because they amplify the most sound that makes it easiest to hear stuff going on.
Wait, what do you mean by brick roads?
Like, just roads
Exactly
paved
what I
in
just
brick.
said.
Oh, I've never seen one.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I don't think I have either, and only a few
Wow.
places.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just that those are usually more common in, like, older constructed areas.
FYI, brick roads, like I just said,
Um,
they amplify the best noise for you, and not in a way that makes it like overwhelming, but in a way that makes it.
We're a little bit off topic there.
Yeah.
I just want
Government.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about Social Security and federal stuff, or are we sticking with state stuff here?
Of course. Let's
okay.
do it all.
So one more.
This is gonna be 2 episodes, so
Yeah. So another state program. If you're in the state of Missouri, Missouri has a blind fund to where you get, I believe it's an extra $700 that they will pay to you to help for any blindness expenses, whether that's buying equipment or whatever. And I think you have to be living in the state of Missouri for a minimum of, I want to say 6 months to a year, somewhere in that time frame.
So live there and then move out.
Yeah, you'll get the money for a month, and then that's it.
And just say, yes, I own that house there.
Wait, see, that's
Right. But you can't own a house unless you have SSDI.
wait, really?
Yes. You're not allowed to have any kind of equity on SSI, which that is something.
Did not know that.
I mean, you're only getting $750, so
Yeah.
yeah. Good luck owning anything. But I mean, my thing is it's hard for me to even think of any benefits that'll help you. You know, if you're disabled, if you're blind, legally blind, they're only going to give you like one shot at stuff, and then they say, "Yep, that's it. Sorry."
Well, and that may also just depend. I have no idea what Illinois' like financial situation is, but
It's poor.
it may just depend on your state's financial situation.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
I know. I think 80% of, at least what it's supposed to be, is 80% of vocational rehabilitation's funding. 80% of it should be federal.
I mean,
But
Oh, sorry.
what the problem is when it comes to that is if they don't use it, then they lose it.
Lose
the next
it,
time federal. So what could be happening is that maybe they had a whole bunch of money and then they never used it, and now they're working with less.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and I get the reasons for those things happening, but it still sucks.
Yeah,
Right.
and I
So-
don't. Continue.
Well, I was just gonna say. So going back to like opportunities, I wish he was here to talk about them. So I'll mention it for him on his behalf. But Mitch, Mitch, he goes to the lighthouse. There's a lighthouse in almost every state, from what I know of, if not every state. There's a lighthouse for the blind here in Chicago. Mitch travels there every day. He takes quite a long ride because he doesn't live in Chicago. And, the lighthouse, has tried to help him more than blind services. And, and here's another proof of instance of how screwed you may be in reality, because, he got a nice job at Amazon, no less. A company that, claims to really be down with the sickness for disabled people. They fired him in a week. They fired him, because they came up with some BS reason, but it was really, it's because he was blind and they were scared. And they just didn't think, even though he was doing a good job, they just didn't want him there.
It was in like one of their warehouses, right?
Yeah.
That seems like I would take one of those jobs. Like,
Yeah. Well,
Speaking for someone who does work in a factory/warehouse environment, it's nice to do for a little while, but that is not a job you want for the rest of your life.
Look, here's the deal. That's not the point. Okay, I don't care about the point.
Right.
Is that the lighthouse helped him with this. Okay, he got fired. Now he's going back to the lighthouse again to try to get something else.
yeah,
It's an endless system. My thing is no matter, like, the problem, it's an endless loop, because no matter how much help you get, they may not trust you regardless. And they may just keep you there for like a week or two. And then if someone who seems to have a better capability comes in, no matter what and Mitch has a college degree, by the way, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Someone with sight comes in, forget about it. You're ousted.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, we are gonna have to pick this up in the next episode because we are out of time.
Good, because I got plenty more rage to slam around.
All right. So, thank you guys for sticking around. We'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah.
All right. See y'all later.
Peace.